You're going to hear that combination a lot through the course of the season. Ellen Floyd yesterday against Point Loma had 50 assists and 15 digs. In that match that went 5 sets. There's Elenecki.
She always has those really nice short serves that just drop right over the net and lose all their air, and they just kind of fall right in front of you.
7-5. This one a little bit deeper this time. Picked up initially by Marissa Bates. Stevens swats it over. Tap back over by Pittsburgh State. Stevens on the attack, taps it over the blockers. Nicely done.
UAA always does a really good job mixing up their combinations of hitting and kind of tipping it over the block. They never really have like a certain combination of they'll hit a few and then they tip them over. They always kind of judge it by the energy and the flow of the play, which I think is what makes them really successful.
On the attack. Beautiful kill by Gates. You know, I was just going to ask you, is that a planned thing to tip it, or is that just more of a feel like you were saying? It seems like it would be a better idea just to get a feel for it than rather try to plan it.
Yeah, it's definitely more a feel. Like if a rally's going on a really long time, you can definitely expect to see some tips thrown in there just to mix it up, but it's really more of a feel or if your approach is off.
Josie McCorsky serving here for Pittsburgh State. Nicole Blue dug out of there by McCorsky that time. Blocked at the net nicely by Elder. Stevens. Stevens now with 5 kills already here in the opening set. Yeah, Stevens line drive serve down that far side. As it's tapped over by Carly Clennon, junior from El Dorado, Kansas. Able to pick up the point. She'll check out of the game. Beautiful play that time as Elder knocks it over. How difficult is it to set it like that? To perfect it back over your head and have that kind of touch on it.
It's pretty hard. That's why not everybody does it.
Blumhoff with the serve here for UAA. Going cross court on the attack that time was Thurston. And a point here to the Gorillas. Pittsburgh State last season was 15-13 overall. They were 9-11 in the Mid-American Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Finished 6th. They're picked to finish 6th in their conference once again this season. Now and I with the initial dig. Popped in the air by Plumhoff, and then Genet just knocks it over. Floyd, quick tap over. Good dig by Stevens. Genet. The rally continues. Genet. Picked up by Bates that time, and wide. Evans coming back in for UAA. As Talia Lauenai with the error. Something that kind of plagued UAA yesterday against Point Loma in the first 2 sets was errors. Not just service errors, but attacking errors in general. And then they were finally able to get that fixed a little bit thanks to Genet. Gets the kill there. Set over to the far side and long on the attack that time. And now the Seawolves starting to string together consecutive points here as they lead 13-9.
Seems like the Seawolves were a little bit surprised by how Pittsburgh State came out a little more aggressively than I think they expected.
Line drive served by Ellen Floyd. Return hit the top of the net initially. Here's Janae, taps it over. Nicely dug out that time by Thurston. And unable to get a clean piece of it was Evans. It deflects off her arm and to the floor for a gorilla point. As Kate Bandry misses on the serve. As Lisa Genet will come out, Nicole Blue will come in along with Maddie Galloway, freshman from Pensacola, Florida. You're talking about Galloway in our first broadcast. What really impresses you about Madison Galloway in her game?
I think it's her, her initial, I'm just gonna get this ball no matter what. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. She's just gonna go to the floor for every single one, and she just attacks the ball, which is a thing that you absolutely have to have if you're gonna be successful in defense. You cannot be scared.
Galloway seeing a lot of playing time early on this season as Eve Stevens cuts it across the court for the kill. And Galloway coming into tonight, third in digs on the team. Lau and I leading the way with 65. Ellen Floyd with 48, and then the freshman Galloway with 44 as Nicole Blue picks up her first point tonight.
Yeah, you can already tell that Madison is going to be a difference maker on this team. Just coming in as a freshman and already playing so well. That's not something that happens all the time.
Jen Gomez, the head coach for Pittsburgh State, calls a timeout, trying to get her squad regrouped as they trail by 5, 16-11. If there's one thing, Brooke, that Pittsburgh State hasn't quite done yet that they should be doing, what could it be right now, other than obviously putting points on the board? But what are they not executing at the moment that Coach Gomez wants to see?
If they served a little bit tougher, it might be a different story. We could potentially see the score flip-flopped. Serving and getting the other team, any team, out of system right off the bat is crucial in order to win a volleyball game. So I think they're doing a really great job on defense and keeping up with the speed and pace once a rally starts. But if they can just get UAA out of system off the bat, then they would be a little bit more successful.
Take a look at some of the stats so far here through this opening set. Seawolves with 9 kills, Pittsburgh State with 6. 4 errors by Pittsburgh State so far, a couple by UAA. Total attacks, Pittsburgh State with 26, UAA 24. Hitting percentage, 29% for UAA, 7% for Pittsburgh State. Seawolves leading in digs, 13-11. As out of the timeout, Elenecki with the serve, and there's kind of that serve that just drops over the front of the net, and a beautiful block that time by Nicole Blue. Elenecki will knock it over, tapped over. Blue plays it initially. Stevens. She's got the power, but she also has the finesse as well.
She's just a smart player in general. She'll see when the defense is dug in the back, expecting her to hit, and she'll just tap it over.
Galloway, Blue. A set there initially by Richard. Brianna Richard already with 5 assists, and Eve Stevens with another kill, her 8th kill tonight. Stevens now with 8 points, 18-11. Seawolves in a groove here right now. Beautiful It looked like a beautiful block initially by Nicole Blue. Reaching over there, it looked like.
I think it just hit off her hands and into the antenna, so it was the other team's.
So McCorsky. Nicole. Did she keep it in? Yes, she did. Beautifully done that time. As Eve Stevens will go back to serve. You may have heard the Seawolf bench the last time Eve served, yelling out the pride of Palmer. She is from Palmer, Alaska, as that return is in the back corner for Pittsburgh State. Played at Colony High School. How many different chants are there when somebody comes up to serve or somebody does something? I would assume there's quite a few that.
I feel like they have one for almost everybody.
I think you're right.
They probably have like a team meeting, and then they're like, all right, what do you want your chant to be?
As Richards set it, and then the kill. Nicely done that time by Thurston. Second kill of the game for Janie Thurston. Nicole. And that one played over the Pittsburgh State bench. We got to get a bigger student section. I keep looking down here. And we got to get. I know that's the opening weekend for UAA and the university just getting back in the groove of things. I think they had kind of like an open house today on campus.
I think you're right.
As
more advertising.
Yeah. As that one was touched and tipped. As Elder picks up the point, 21-14. School back in session next week here at UAA. As a timeout taken. And I think that'll help the student section.
I think so.
Bit.
Yeah, I'm sure people are still moving into the dorms and all that kind of good stuff. It's always fun when the high school volleyball teams come too. They're usually pretty loud.
Seawolves after tonight will go on the road. They'll go up to Fairbanks to take part in the Nanook Classic for 4 matches. On September 1st, a couple of games on the 2nd, and then a game on the 3rd before they're back home on the 8th and 10th when they open up GNAC play against St. Martin's in Western Oregon. So on the road for a handful of matches and then back home here in a couple of weeks to start conference play. Is there anybody in the GNAC that you can think of off the top of your head that's really going to be impressive to watch over the course of the year?
Western Washington is always top. They're always incredibly impressive. Diane does a really great job with that team every year. Simon Fraser, I'm really excited to see them play. Last year they also had a really great season. Central Washington, it's always a really fun GNAC season.
It's always competitive.
Always.
As out of the timeout, Eve Stevens with another kill. 22-14 now. Stevens coming into tonight had 1,513 kills all time. As Elder. Thurston block, played by Elder. Janae picked up that time by Bates initially, and then Eve unable to dig that one out of there. As Thurston will send it away here. Janae. Lisa Janae now with her second kill.
That's a really fun set, kind of mixes it up. Instead of pushing it all the way out to the antenna, she hits it right on just that inner circle and doesn't leave a lot of room for her to swing, but it kind of confuses the blockers.
23-15 is Lau and I with the serve. Floyd with the set here to Janae. Wow.
She has such a fast arm.
Set point here for UAA. As Talia looks to head coach Chris Green, ready to go here. Picked up by Bates initially on the dig, blocked over by Janae. Over to the far side, beautiful block by Evans and Floyd that time for the set point. So the Seawolves take the opening set, 25-15. Teams will switch ends of the floor. We'll step aside here briefly and come back to the Alaska Airlines Center. You're watching Seawolf Volleyball on GoSeawolves.com. Welcome back to the Alaska Airlines Center, getting ready for the second set here between UAA and Pittsburgh State. Seawolves taking the opening set 25-15. Keaton Homer alongside Brooke Pottle. Glad to have you along wherever you're tuned in for Seawolf Volleyball as they're wrapping up the Seawolf Invitational here tonight. There's 5 games yesterday. This is the 5th game here today. 5th match, I should say. Each team having to play at some point in time 2 games, not a doubleheader. UAA had their doubleheader yesterday. It was an exciting one to end it, that is for sure. Seawolves in that opening set, 17 kills, 37 total attacks, couple of errors, 40% on the hitting percentage. For Pittsburgh State, 10 kills, 5 errors, 41 total attacks, and 12% on the hitting percentage. I'm sure Coach Gomez would like to see the hitting percentage increase substantially.
Definitely. Anytime you're hitting over at least 25% as a team, you're doing pretty well. You're at least competing pretty well.
So the Seawolves here in the second set will serve from left to right. That'll be Pittsburgh State working from right to left here to start with the serve. As Brianna Richard will send it away to start set number 2. Floyd, Evans, blocked, but unable to keep it in. Able to power it right off Pittsburgh State pick up the opening point here in set number 2. As Floyd and this one misplayed by UAA there, it looked like.
Yeah, it looked like Eve was really, really shallow on that ball. I'm not really sure why she was there. She should have just let it go over her head. Hey, but your wish came true. The student center got bigger.
It did. Like, I looked over between sets and somehow, I don't know if maybe they were listening in the dorms.
They're like, now's our chance.
Yeah, let's get in there, yeah. And then Evans comes up big with the kill. 2-1 here early in the second set. But they were energetic during the break. They had the guitar cam going, and they were rocking out. And I'm sure as the season goes along, it'll get bigger and bigger. At least that's the hope anyway, as Galloway.
That's the hope.
On the serve. Blocked nicely by Evans that time. On the attack over, Sanford. Blocked is Nicole Blue. And it looked like Carly Clinton got a majority of that ball that time. That's the first block attack that Pittsburgh State has had so far tonight. I would say that UAA has dominated the net play here so far this evening.
I would agree with that.
As the Seawolves able to get a kill. Make it 3-2. Talia sends it over. Stevens. Going to be able to get there? Yes, they might. Get it back over. Played over beautifully by Bates that time. Quick tap over. Ellen Floyd. We saw that a handful of times last night against Point Loma. She's so good at that. Just looked like she's going to set it and just dumps it over.
Yeah, if you're the other team, it's like the most annoying play ever. But if you're on Ellen's team, you're like, oh, yes, nice.
I feel like every team needs to have one of those types of players, right?
Totally.
Blocked that time by Elder. And going cross court, getting the kill. Nicely done by Brianna Richard. A graduate senior out of Ames, Iowa. As Richard picks up her first kill, and now will give way to Jane Thurston to serve. And then a point to Pittsburgh State as Eve's attack went wide that time. As Thurston, nice serve down the far side. And a point here to Pittsburgh State. Didn't quite see what happened.
I think she mishandled that ball. She was a little like off balance and couldn't, I don't think she made a decision early enough, so she just sent it over. And it didn't look pretty enough.
And the serve hits the tape on this one. And an error. Tied at 5 now after the error on the serve. Stevens gives an error right back.
I really like Pittsburgh's energy coming into the second game. Even though they didn't necessarily take that first one, they're still really on UAA's tail.
That one tapped over by Floyd. Floyd again. Good dig that time by Galloway, diving to get underneath it. Good block by Elder. Eve. Played nicely by Sanford. Nicole Blue. Able to rip one off the fist of Jane Thurston for a kill. Trying to see how many service errors Eve had coming into tonight. Had 5 coming in to this evening. That was her 6th error serving this year. And Janae picks up another kill. 4 kills tonight for Lisa. There's Riley Plumhoff. Long serve this time. Ball seemed like it just really floated on that serve.
Yeah, that was an interesting contact on her hand.
As soon as it came off, it just kept going and going.
Yep.
On the attack, Eve Stevens. Stevens tonight, her hitting percentage hovering right around 60%. Up to 62 after that kill. As McKenna Elenecki with the serve, blocked, coming right at us. As Pittsburgh State able to power it off a couple of blockers. Pick up the point. As Brianna Richard serves it down the far right side. Janae blocked, but unable to keep it in play. So the senior Ellen Floyd now. Initial touch by Sanford. Evans and Janae able to get the block that time. Seawolves out in front by a couple of points, 10-8. And that time, a little bit of power from Carly Clennon. Closer set here in set number 2. As Pittsburgh State only trailing by 1 here as Janae pushes the Seawolf lead back out to a couple. 11-9. We were talking before the match started. It's nice to have, we know what Eve Stevens can do, but when you have somebody else like Leisha Janae that's able to step up, it's really hard to defend Stevens and Janae.
Oh, definitely, yeah. If you have 2 pin hitters that are really hot on in any game, it's really hard. So it's fun to see somebody else other than Eve, perform, because we've all seen Eve perform and she's going to continue to perform really well, but when somebody else is, you're like, oh, look at that.
Well, it just gives other teams something to think about in the back of their mind.
Definitely. And it helps out Eve.
Right, it does. You're exactly right. It takes a little bit of defense away from Eve and
Totally.
even a little bit of pressure probably as well.
Absolutely.
As Talia Lawanai will step back to serve with the Seawolves up 12-10, and that one misplayed by McCroskey.
A little bit of miscommunication on Pittsburgh's side.
McCroskey and Marissa Bates talking to one another along the back line about who should have had what there. Lawanai, wow! Hit the top of the net and then just did creep over for a Seawolf point and an ace for Talia. And it's 14-10. You know things are going right when you get one of those types of serves.
Yeah, the ball is in your favor.
Timeout taken by the Gorillas. Pittsburg State, not in the Pittsburgh you might think. It is in Pittsburg, Kansas. Small town in Kansas. Play Division II athletics. Yes, it's a much different Pittsburgh than the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I would imagine. I've been to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but not. I was really surprised when I saw Pittsburgh State on the like, you know.
The schedule, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, and then they came in and they weren't wearing blue, so I was like, huh, different Pittsburgh.
Yes. You've been to the city of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania. I have not been to that one. I've been to the one in Kansas,
Okay.
oddly enough.
We got our gut bases covered.
So we've covered it.
We'll compare and contrast
Yes.
after the game.
So out of the timeout, Talia will send it away after she bounces the ball a handful of times on the floor. See if the Gorillas can respond. Trailing by 4 here in the second set. Nicole Blue, good dig that time by Bates. And a point here to Pittsburgh State as Elder looking at the official saying she didn't touch it at the net, and now they're going to get together and talk about it here. See what kind of conclusion they come up with. Two officials on the net. Chris Green ready to use a challenge here if need be.
He had that card in his hand ready.
So we'll replay the point here. Serve just died right at the end as it's knocked over by McCorsky. Floyd Stevens! Wow.
She was right on top of that net, over the block. That is nearly impossible to defend.
I thought initially Ellen was going to go to the far side with the set, and then she just popped it right there for Eve.
Yeah.
On the attack going cross court was Sanford, and wide of the mark that time. 16-10 now. Sanford pops it back over. Floyd, Stevens. Richard with the initial touch. Sanford, and that time able to pick up the kill. For Sanford, it is her first kill tonight after she came off of the 10-kill performance in their last match against UAF. Elder blocked. I don't think Leilani got enough on that, thinking maybe she didn't need to put enough on it.
I don't think the ball got quite into her hand like she wanted it to. It died a little bit before it could get to her.
Lloyd over to Eve. Nicely done. And so now Eve Stevens, after getting the kill, will step back to serve here for the Seawolves. Eve long on the serve. That's 2 errors tonight for Eve on the serve.
Struggling a little bit with her serving, but making up for it in kills.
How intimidating is it when you have the ball in your hand? Be honest. When you're
On
serving.
the back line?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're just thinking, please go in.
And that one tipped by Pittsburgh State, point to the Seawolves. I feel like volleyball is one of those rare sports where the crowd just falls silent on the serve.
It's like tennis.
It is.
Yeah.
And
it's more intimidating because Coach Green is telling you where to serve, and you're like, Coach. Not feeling comfortable with that zone tonight.
Floyd knocks it over. Picked up that time by Gates as she sends it over the net. Elder able to knock it off a couple of Pittsburgh State defenders. (19-13) is Riley Plumhoff. Genet able to pick up the kill. You were talking about where Coach Green wants his players to serve. How does he determine that? Does he just look at the defense and how they're set up as Pittsburgh State calls a timeout?
He watches a lot of film, so like you'll see, and then he kind of likes to pick on a couple of players that are in the back row, you know. And if you pass enough bad balls, then you're just in your head. But yeah, he just generally, there's some positions on the court that are harder to pass from. So for example, if you're in the far back right corner, it's a little, you don't have as much room for error when you're passing to the setter. So there is a little bit strategicness behind it, but also just kind of picking on the weaker passers of the other team if there are any.
Yeah, I was just wondering if it was a film thing or if it was a film thing combined with what he's seeing on the floor at that point in time.
Both, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know what the clipboard is actually used for. It's not to actually write things down.
No, it's to throw it on the ground when you're angry, and it's to hide where you're serving.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Pittsburgh State trailing 20-13. Here in set number 2. Seawolves took the opening set 25-15. So Riley out of the break, another line drive serve, just does get over the net that time. As Floyd, Elder taps it over, coming up was Bates to get underneath it. Genet! At this point, I don't know who has the faster swing, if it's Stevens or Genet. They're both.
What's really fun is to see if she contacts it in different parts, if it's more in front of her body or not, then it depends on where it goes in the court. So sometimes it comes at you really fast, like at the chest, and sometimes it goes straight down just like that. So that's the fun part, is you never really know how she's going to hit it.
An error on the serve gives Pittsburgh State control of the volleyball here, trailing 21-14. As Elder now with 5 kills on 9 total attacks. Has 5 points tonight. Elenecki now, floating serve. Blocked nicely by Evans, but unable to keep it in. Richard with the serve here for the Gorillas, and going down the near sideline here. Went off a couple of Pittsburgh State players' hands and to the floor for a Seawolf point. (23-15). Able to put a little emphasis on it that time was Seville Gates. (23-16) as McCroskey with the serve here for the Gorillas. Stevens Able to get the kill. Set point here. So Galloway, the freshman, will serve for set point here in the second set. Nice play by Galloway, and somehow it worked out.
She was very surprised by that.
Slipping and falling to the floor, Galloway able to get the kill for set point.
Wonder if she'll get any more kills the rest of the season.
We'll see. That was a very awkward one. I don't know if she does get any more, she's not getting any more like that. Yeah. That's for sure. Seawolves have a 2-0 lead here against Pittsburgh State. We'll step aside. We'll come back to the Alaska Airlines Center after this. You're watching Seawolf Volleyball on GoSeawolves.com. Back here at the Alaska Airlines Center, going into the third set. Keaton Homer alongside Brooke Pottle. Glad to have you along wherever you're tuned in for Seawolf Volleyball. Seawolves with a 2-0 lead over Pittsburgh State. I'm not going to say it's been the cleanest match for UAA, but they've played fairly well. I would say if I was to give them a letter grade, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a B, B+-ish, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds pretty accurate. It's definitely not their cleanest game, like you said. It's a little bit messy at times at the net, but I've been really impressed with Pittsburgh and how they've just, like, it's really easy when you're down in a game to just kind of be like, meh, give up a little bit, not play as hard, but they've just been coming out swinging and, like, chasing after balls and really just keeping their energy and the momentum on their side, even though the score may not reflect that. So I've been really impressed with that, and the few times that they've been able to get a really great pass on the first ball, they've been able to do some damage on the other side of the court.
You know, in each of the first two sets, Pittsburgh State has gone back and forth. They've had rallies, and they've been within a point or two, and it seems just to be that breaking point right around the midway point of the set is when UAA just really starts to pull away.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's just UAA gets a couple of really momentum-changing kills, and they just kind of take off with it, which is what you want a good team to do, but Pittsburgh is still in it, I'd say.
Start the third set. Ellen Floyd will get us going here in set number 3. Good dig that time after the block by Meg Otten. Diving to the floor to keep it alive. Here's Janae. Nice play by Floyd after the block. Janae again, this time hits the antenna. At least it may just been a little too far wide that time, it looked like.
Yeah, it's a little difficult when you've taken 3 approaches already in the matter of 30 seconds to make sure all of them are spot on.
An error this time on the serve by Richard. Ties it at 1. So Galloway comes in. Maddie, a nice serve this time, and able to answer is Janie Thurston, though.
So what happens when you get a really good pass on your first contact?
Thurston now with 5 kills on 13 attacks. And the Gorillas with a 2-1 lead here early in set number 3. Evans blocked. Stevens. That one played into the net that time by Gates. First attack error of the night for Gates. Good dig that time by Floyd. Beautiful block by Nicole Blue, then punched over by Pittsburgh State. Nicole. Here to the near side, Thurston. Floyd, Blue. Popped up by Richard. Galloway, back to Blue. Good rally once again here. Lau and I. Stevens taps it over. Good dig, but unable to keep it alive and in play. As Thurston, a little too much on it that time. Three-two. As that one dumped to the floor by Leilani.
I like how she swipes it the other way instead of just going straight up. Takes the other team off guard.
How hard is that, though, not contact the net while you're doing that? I mean, that's dangerous, I would think, when you're swiping like that.
It depends how excited you are.
Right.
It's coming at you.
That one gets over Leilani there. As Stevens now goes in that back right corner. And able to get the kill. And it's 5-2. Seawolves, didn't mention it at the top of the broadcast, but they are undefeated this season, 6-0. That mark was put to the test yesterday evening, though, against Point Loma. Those 2 sets that they lost as Stevens and Leilani collided initially. Seawolves do get the point out of it. But those 2 sets that UAA lost against Point Loma were the first 2 sets they had dropped all season long. They were perfect up until that point, as a timeout going to be taken with the Seawolves out in front 6-2. I'd be curious to see, looking through the record books, what the longest streak is for a UAA team not having lost a set.
That's pretty impressive.
That is.
Not lose a set.
Right.
To be undefeated in general is something to, say, but to not lose a set, that's pretty impressive that they got through a whole tournament and a half.
Right,
about.
right. Yeah, they were a perfect 15-0 coming into that match against Point Loma until they finally lost in their 16th set that they had played in the season. And then they rattle off 3 straight to take the match. It was 2 completely different teams last night. I couldn't believe
me neither.
The light switch that they found in that 3rd set. As the serve hits the top of the net that time from Elenecki.
Not UAA's best serving game tonight.
It's the 7th service error for UAA. Is that one a little too powerful that time from Elder? 6-4. Serve. Played initially by Galloway, punched over by Eve Stevens. In the middle now, knocking it over was Kate Bandry. Stevens. Elder blocked. And Floyd unable to get to it and back her up that time.
Seawolves aren't careful. Pittsburgh could easily take this set.
Well, we mentioned that they've been able to hang around early on in sets. They're only trailing by 1 here at the moment, 6-5. As Bates with another good serve. Stevens powers it off a couple of Pittsburgh State blockers, though, and able to pick up the point. And Eve gives it right back. She has struggled tonight.
Yeah.
Third service error for Eve here this evening. As Thurston, Galloway, now Nicole Blue. As Lisa Genet and Riley Plumhoff will come back in for UAA.
Hopefully breathe a little bit of life into the Seawolves. It's been a long tournament, and they came off a long tournament in Hawaii, too.
Yeah.
A lot of volleyball.
Popped high in the air that time on the set by Floyd. Diving, good dig that time by Lau and I. Good block by Elder. She's so good around the net.
Speaking from experience, UAA does do a lot of blocking practice, even though statistically blocking is not a big determining factor when playing volleyball. Coach Green does have a lot of blocking practices, which helps because even though it's not statistically helpful per se, depending on who you ask, it is a momentum changer.
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine how deflating it is to the other team when you have your outside hitters there swinging away and they can't get it past your front line.
Yeah, you're just like, come on, I'm hitting at a brick wall.
Yeah. Seawolves tonight. Net play has not been perfect, but it's been better than Pittsburgh State here this evening. And they've been able to get a handful of points at the net. (10-7). A little bit of moisture on the floor, taking some time to get that dried up. As Jaden Sanford with the serve. Floyd, Genet. I know it's early in the season. How much is Coach Green still filling out his lineups? Or is it kind of already, set in his rotations of who he wants to use and how he wants to use them?
I think it really could go either way. I think he likes going into preseason, kind of having a lineup set. That's kind of why the whole point of preseason, I would say. But there's always room for adjustments, just depending on what happens during the season.
As Eve gets up holding her right finger. See, her index finger and pinky finger on her right hand are taped together.
Looks like that one might have hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it did. But she's going to shake it off and stay in. There's that one a little deep on the serve. And the Seawolves pick up the point on the air at 12-8 now. Looking at the tape on the right hand, I'm trying to remember if Eve had that on the last couple of matches.
I was asking myself that as well.
As the Seawolves commit an error themselves, and Chris Green just kind of looks to the floor like, what are we doing? Giving away points at the moment.
That's exactly what a missed serve is.
As Richard Floyd now, Janae taps it over. Beautiful play that time by Bates. Janae. Stevens. Richard. And a beautiful kill by Meg Otten.
She had a pretty open net on that swing.
12-10 now. And an error. You know, now I start thinking about Eve Stevens and the tape on her hand. Maybe that's playing a little bit of a factor into her serves.
It could.
Why it has not been as good as it has been in the last couple of nights.
Yeah, if she injured it and it hurts to hit, like that would definitely play a factor.
Nice block by Eve at the net that time. Eve again, but unable to keep it in the court of play.
That first block she had was textbook. You won't see a better block than that.
It'll be the first block attack tonight for Eve here this evening. The Seawolves pick up the point. UAA out in front by 3, 14-11. As the senior from Wailuku, Hawaii will send it away here. And trying to get the dig, but can't get there in time was Talia. Slid to her left, tried to dig it out of there, but just a little late. Student section trying to make a little bit of noise.
They like tripled in size.
They have. There's Nicole Blue here. Bates will knock it back in. Floyd to Blue again.
Nicole Blue really reads the block on the other side of the net well. She sees where the blockers are and she knows whether she needs to go line or whether she has room to go cross. It's really fun to watch her kind of play the block.
Elder got a piece of it. As Nicole on the attack again. And the Gorilla is able to get it over. And then Ellen frustrated with herself. And now she's going to get a card. Well, I think she knew it. As soon as she swatted the ball out of play like that.
Yep, definitely.
I don't think she can really disagree with the official on that one. As the serve goes long that time. I think that might be the first time, at least in this invitational, where Ellen has tried that and it has not worked for her.
Probably, yeah. She's usually very spot on with those. If she would have a little tighter to the net, it would have gone over.
Floyd here to the near side. Shanae. Not too high and long that time.
Seawolf seem to be struggling through this third set.
Yeah, definitely not as crisp.
A lot more errors on their side, even though they're ahead.
Yeah, Seawolves here in this third set, already 5 errors. That's the most errors they've had in either of the previous 2 sets. Over to the far side. A little bit long on that attack that time from Meg Otten. Yeah, the Seawolves here in this third set, 9 kills, 5 errors on 27 total attacks, a 14% hitting percentage. For Pittsburgh State, 6 kills, 2 errors on 23, now make it 24 total attacks, 12% hitting percentage. As Otten blocked that time by Evans. That one able to get through a couple of Seawolves as Kate Bandry able to pick up the kill. 4th kill tonight for Bandry.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's definitely taking advantage of the uncharacteristic Seawolf play.
Janae blocked. Beautiful block that time.
That'll get Pittsburgh excited.
It will, as Brianna Richard (17-16) now. As Evans had to scramble to dive underneath that one as it hit the top of the net on the serve. Otten. Played over by Lauenheim. Richard, Otten. Try to go for that back left corner. Janae. Popped over by Richard. Janae again. Beautiful play by Ellen Floyd to pop it over. What a volley this is. Janae. Richard. Evans. Can't get the kill. Otten now. Janae. Blocked. Nice play by Plumhoff. Janae punches it over. That one long. Wow. What a rally. The effort on both squads there to keep that rally going. And a timeout going to be taken. The Seawolves up by 2, 18-16.
A lot of scrambling on both sides.
Yes, there was. The Seawolves able to get the point out of that one after the attack error by Meg Otten. That's got to take a lot out of you as a player when you're just scrambling and trying to keep the rally going.
It takes a lot out of you, and also it's like invigorating at the same time because you're just like, somebody's got to give it up. But those are really fun plays and huge momentum changers no matter who wins or at what point, like however many points ahead or behind you are. It's definitely a confidence booster.
Well, it's always good to have people listening to the broadcast. Our team photographer, Skip Hickey, messaging me saying, Eve Stevens did have tape on her hand yesterday, but it wasn't there Thursday. So at some point in time, she injured those right 2 fingers.
He does have the photo evidence.
He does. He would. If there's anybody, he's got it. So thanks, Skip, for that bit of information. And on the serve, an ace here as it's misplayed by Pittsburgh State. (19-16) as Ellen Floyd will step back. Popped over nicely, and Floyd, wow, just reaches the left fist out there and knocks it over. Plumhoff.
There's a lot of limbs out.
Evans with the kill. 4th kill tonight for Isabel Evans. And an error this time by Floyd. It's the 10th error on a serve for UAA tonight.
think I know what they're going to be practicing
Yeah.
on Monday.
I was just thinking back through all the matches of the Seawolf Invitational. I think the 10 errors on the serve is the most they've had in any match here tonight as Evans punches that one over.
You got to give them credit, though, for having that many errors and still being in the lead of any game.
Right. I mean, that's 10 points you've just given away right there throughout the match.
Yeah. Could be 21-7.
Block that time. Evans and Stevens. Isabella kind of had a confused look on her face after that one. Wasn't sure what happened.
She's like, was it on our side? Was it on their side? I don't know.
Point to UAA, 22-17. There's Galloway. Evans. And make contact with the net on that swing.
That's when you get too excited that it's coming at you and you're like, yeah, now's my chance. And then you hit the net.
You never hit the net in your career.
Never.
That never happened.
Yeah. We can go back and watch film and that would never happen.
Stevens. Stevens got a piece of it. Actually, it was Evans that got a piece of it, excuse me. Galloway unable to dig that one out of there. As Otten with the serve here. Nicole Blue. And a missed set that time by Brianna Richard. 23-19 as Talia will have control of the serve here. Seawolves trying to stay undefeated on the season. Trying to improve their mark to 7-0. A couple of points away from doing so. And going cross court and in that time.
That's a great swing.
There's Meg Otten. Actually, check that. It was Jane Thurston. Nicole Blue. Gorillas scrambling a little bit. Finally just knock it over does Marissa Bates. Blue on the attack again. Good dig by Bates to get there, but can't keep it in play. And now we have reached match point. Well, Eve has struggled with her serve, and she has the ball in her hands right now. Let's see what happens. Fans on their feet. Blocked for the match. Nicole Blue, along with Leilani Elder, team up to get the final point. And the Seawolves, and 3 straight, take down Pittsburgh State and improve their mark to 7-0 on the season. Impressive performance yet again, staying undefeated here, Brooke.
Yeah, I definitely think so. It's really impressive if you go all of your preseason undefeated. That's what preseason's for, is to get a lot of experience, to get everything out before conference play so that you really go in confident and just ready to kind of like take names. And I'm just really impressed that UAA has stayed undefeated playing against such competitive teams statistically.
If there's one thing that Coach Green may want to work on for the road trip coming up, what do you think that's going to be over the next few days? Serving. Serving was a problem definitely tonight for UAA. They had the 10 errors on the serve, but they're able to power through those and pick up the victories. They improved to 7-0. Well, that's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Seawolves are on the road next week before they come back home on the 8th and 10th to start GNAC play here at the Alaska Airlines Center. You can follow all the information about UAA volleyball online at GoSeawolves.com. For my broadcast partner, Brooke Pottle, I'm Keaton Homer signing it off. Seawolves win. They stay undefeated, 7-0. Until next time, good night, everybody.